The US Air Force just unleashed a shockwave no one saw coming.
Yeah, if you look back over the last 30 years, there's really only one aircraft that you could categorize as the workhorse of mobility for the Air Force.
This isn't some routine upgrade. It's a seismic shift in global power. Military playbooks are being torn apart. Rivals are scrambling for answers. And nothing about modern warfare will ever be the same.
Warfare has changed. Drones have seized center stage, and the US is sprinting ahead in the race.
This force is so advanced and that it far exceeds the curve. It doesn't just change the game, it ends it. Built to disappear, strike first, and leave nothing standing. It's a total devastation kept under wraps. But today, we'll unveil why it remains unmatched and the most feared machine in the sky. Number 8. F22 Raptor. Let's start with this apex predator that has ruled the skies for over 2 decades, and still nothing can touch it.
One of my favorite things about the F22 is the situational awareness that we get from all the sensors and data sharing that we have.
The F22 Raptor first flew on the 7th of September 1997, and by the time it became fully operational on the 15th of December 2005, it had already changed the rules of air combat. Built to replace the aging F-15C, it was the first 5th-generation fighter the world had ever seen. And even now, in 2025, the world is still trying to catch up. You would expect raw speed from a jet this famous, and it delivers. Top speed is Mach 2.25, but that's not the impressive part. The Raptor can cruise at Mach 176, flying faster than sound without ever needing afterburners. That matters. It conserves fuel, avoids heat-seeking detection, and allows the F-22 to stay in the fight far longer than conventional jets. The power behind it: 2 Pratt & Whitney F-119 engines, each producing about 35,000 pounds of thrust with vectoring nozzles that tilt up to 20 degrees. That thrust vectoring gives the Raptor its signature moves: violent turns, airborne stalls, and impossible pivots that defy physics. Altitude is no limitation either. It can climb to 65,000 feet, far beyond the effective ceiling of most missiles. From that height, it sees targets long before they even register its presence. Stealth is not a gimmick here, it's a nightmare for enemies. The Raptor's radar cross-section is roughly 0.01 cm, about the size of a marble. And this is a jet more than 62 feet long and weighing over 43,000 pounds when empty. Its radar-absorbent materials, blended edges, and internal weapons bays were all engineered specifically to remain nearly invisible on radar, even while transmitting. In live exercises like Northern Edge 2006, F-22s racked up 108 kills against legacy fighters without suffering a single loss. And that was against F-15s and F-16s, flown by seasoned pilots. This wasn't a contest. It was a demonstration of air dominance. But the Raptor is not just a stealthy acrobat. Its ANAPG-77 AESA radar can detect targets more than 320 km away, sweeping the sky within milliseconds. It doesn't just track, it interprets. Sensor fusion combines radar, infrared, signals, intelligence, and inputs from other aircraft and satellites to give the pilot total situational awareness. The cockpit interface is so advanced that many pilots describe it as having a third eye in the sky. Its weapons loadout is just as unforgiving. 6 A120 AM rams lie in its internal bays. 2 A9 Sidewinders handle close-range threats, and a 20mm M61 Vulcan cannon spits 6,000 rounds per minute. That gun found a real-world target on the 4th of February 2023, when a Raptor fired an AIM-9X missile to destroy a Chinese surveillance balloon hovering at 60,000 feet. That marked the F-22's first official air-to-air kill in operational history. Only 195 units were built between 1996 and 2011. With a flyaway cost of roughly $150 million per jet. When research and development are included, that cost balloons beyond $300 million. Today, Around 183 Raptors remain in active service, and Congress has repeatedly blocked early retirement efforts because even now, no other aircraft combines speed, stealth, power, and awareness like the F-22. Number 7. C17 Globemaster III. If the F-22 Raptor is the silent scalpel of air dominance, then the C17 Globemaster Master III is the sledgehammer that reshapes the battlefield. It was never built to dodge missiles or win dogfights. It was built to show up fully loaded exactly where it isn't supposed to be and make everything possible from that point on. The prototype lifted off from Long Beach on the 15th of September 1991. And less than 4 years later, on the 17th of January in 1995, the U.S. Air Force officially welcomed it into operational service. Production ran for 2 decades, ending in November 2015, after Boeing had delivered 279 units, 223 to the United States, and the rest to trusted allies including the United Kingdom, India, Australia, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Canada. This aircraft is nothing short of massive. It stretches 174 feet in length with wings just shy of 170 feet wide, yet it moves like something half its size. Inside it swallows a whole of fully equipped M1 Abrams tank or 3 Stryker vehicles, or even a CH-47 Chinook helicopter. Need to airlift an infantry company or 18 loaded cargo pallets? It handles both with ease. And while carrying up to 170,000 pieces, it still flies at around 450 knots, fast enough to keep the pace of any urgent military operation. But its real power lies in where it can go. A rugged dirt strip only 3,500 feet long is enough for it to land, thanks to 4 Pratt & Whitney F117 engines, each delivering 40,400 pounds-pitos of thrust. Fully loaded, the Globemaster can touch down, turn within 80 feet, and even reverse up a slope, all on its power. That makes it a rare kind of lifeline, a jet that brings a war zone everything it needs without needing a runway. Step into the cockpit, and it's clear this is no ordinary freighter. Pilots work with 4 multifunction displays and a head-up interface, while a computerized load management system tracks every pound in the cargo bay, adjusting for perfect balance on the fly. And the aircraft isn't helpless in hostile airspace. With flares, chaff, and high-tech tow decoys, plus a directional infrared countermeasure laser system that can blind incoming missiles mid-flight, the C-17 is as difficult to hit as it is to stop. Its range is 4,500 nautical miles with a full load. Lighten the cargo, and it stretches beyond 5,600. With in-flight refueling, it turns that number into however long you need. And this jet doesn't just carry cargo, it transforms. One day, a flying ICU for 48 critical patients. Next, a troop drop with over 100 paratroopers jumping out the back. On the 15th of August 2021, one C-17 lifted 823 Afghan evacuees from Kabul, setting a world record for tactical airlift. That same week, others delivered emergency aid to earthquake-hit Haiti. When it arrives, chaos gets structure. That's what makes the Globemaster a weapon of logistics and a legend in motion. Number 6. B-2 Spirit. Sometimes winning a war means never being seen. Not by radar, not by satellites, not even by heat-seeking sensors. When the U.S. needs to strike across the world and leave no warning, no trail, and no chance for defense, they call in the B-2 Spirit. This isn't just a stealth bomber. It's a machine that redefined how wars begin and end. There's no tail, no fuselage, just a seamless flying wing that looks more alien spacecraft than an aircraft. By the time anyone detects even a trace of it, the mission is already complete. Hidden inside its sleek body are 4 General Electric F118 GE100 engines, each producing 17,300 pounds of thrust. They don't use afterburners, which keeps their thermal signature is incredibly low. Top speed sits around 600. Enough when no one sees you coming. And when the Spirit does arrive, it doesn't knock. It delivers up to 40,000 playbooks of destruction. Whether that means GPSG-guided JDAMs or nuclear gravity bombs, its entire existence is about slipping deep into hostile territory, dropping its payload, and disappearing before the first alarm goes off. That's exactly what happened in March of 1999 when two B-2s launched from Missouri and dropped 1,600 JDAMs in a single smashing Serbian command post during the opening night of Operation Allied Force. But range might be the most shocking part. Unrefueled, it travels 6,000 nautical miles. Add one aerial refuel, and that figure jumps to 10,000. It can lift off from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, hit almost any target on the planet, and return without touching foreign soil. In 2016, one B-2 flew for over 44 hours nonstop during a strike on ISIS targets in Libya, crossing the Atlantic, hitting the target, and flying back without landing. Stealth isn't just paint. Its geometry, physics, and material science work in perfect harmony. Every panel, edge, and intake is designed to scatter incoming radar waves, not reflect them. Its radar cross-section has been compared to a steel marble, roughly 110,000th the size of a B-52. To enemy air defenses, it's background noise. The cockpit is a lesson in ruthless efficiency. Only 2 crew members are needed, 1 pilot and 1 mission commander. Redundant fly-by-wire controls handle flight systems, automated suites, manage targeting, countermeasures, and navigation. That's why the Spirit doesn't need to be fast. Its enemies never get the chance to react. Its first flight was on the 17th of July, 1989. It entered operational service on the 1st of April, 1997. Just 21 were ever built, each costing an estimated $2.13 billion, making it the most expensive aircraft in history. One was lost in 2008 during a takeoff crash in Guam. Another is set for retirement after a ground accident in 2022, leaving only 19 combat-capable B-2s today. Still, those 19 make their presence felt. In August 2024, 3 B-2s deployed to RAF Base Amberley in Australia, flying 4,800 km after hot pit missions to Diego Garcia. A clear message to the Indo-Pacific that no bunker is out of reach. Number 5. KC46 Pegasus. Without refueling, even the most advanced fighter is a prisoner of its gas tank. That's where the KC46 Pegasus steps in. Built on the bones of a Boeing 767, this modern tanker has quietly redefined what aerial logistics can do. It carries a staggering 212,000 pounds of JP-8 fuel, more than enough to fill up 2 B-2 stealth bombers or refuel over a dozen F-35s in a single flight. And it's not just quantity that makes the Pegasus a game changer. It's how precisely and flexibly it delivers that fuel. Introduced in January 2019 with its first landing at McConnell Air Force Base, the KC-46 marked the end of an era, replacing the long-serving KC-135 Stratotanker after 6 decades of service. But the Pegasus isn't just a hand-me-down, it's packed with new tricks. Its fly-by-wire boom system can offload up to heat top, to 200 gallons per minute, while dual hose and drogue pods make it fully compatible with Navy and Allied aircraft. The refueling process is no longer guided by a boom operator lying in the tail. Now it's controlled from a station just behind the cockpit using high-definition 3-dimensional cameras, allowing precision operations day or night. And the Pegasus isn't only a gas pump. Strip away the fuel modules and you've got an aircraft that can carry 65,000 pounds of cargo or 58 passengers, or be reconfigured into a full medevac. The platform is all on a single deck. With modern defensive systems like radar warning receivers and missile countermeasures, the KC-46 can fly closer to combat zones than its predecessors, which it proved during its first combat deployment to U.S. Central Command in June 2022. Despite some growing pains, including issues with its remote vision system and cargo locks, the KC-46 program is scaling quickly. As of May 2025, 91 aircraft have been delivered, and the ultimate goal is 179. Each unit costs around $220 million. Not cheap, But that's the price for an aircraft that expands the reach of every fighter, bomber, and drone in the sky. Even with those early hiccups, the Pegasus keeps pushing boundaries. In April 2025, it became the first tanker cleared to refuel the E-7 wedge tail, a critical piece of the Air Force's future battle network. Number 4. A10 Thunderbolt II. The C-7 brings the gear. The F-22 clears the skies. But when the enemy is dug in, when the terrain is tight, and the danger is real, there's only one jet. The ground troops are praying to hear. Overhead, that's the A10 Thunderbolt II, better known and feared as the Warthog. It doesn't just assist troops, it saves them over and over again. Born not from sleek design fantasies, but hard battlefield necessity, its prototype flew on the 10th of May, 1972. Vietnam had shown the U.S. that jets built for speed were useless in tight ground-level fights. The Air Force needed something that could survive heavy fire, loiter low and long, and devastate armored columns. The A-10 was the brutal answer. In 1976, it officially entered service, and it's never left the fight since. At the center of this flying tank is its soul-crushing, the 30mm GAAU-8A Avenger rotary cannon, firing depleted uranium rounds at more than 3,900 rounds per minute.
Sam, this is the GAU-8 Avenger, our 30mm cannon. You see it's got 7 barrels there. It's gonna hold about 1,150 rounds of that 30 mic. Shoots at 70 rounds per second for 3,900 rounds per minute.
Its magazine holds nearly 1/200 shells, and each second, over 60 projectiles tear into tanks, bunkers, and anything unfortunate enough to be in the blast zone. Forget speed records. The Warthog was built to shrug off punishment and keep flying. A titanium bathtub weighing about 1,200 pounds shields the cockpit from 23mm cannon fire and shrapnel from 57mm shells. The fuel tanks seal themselves if hit. Hydraulics have mechanical backups. And even the engines, 2 General Electric TF34 turbofans, each producing around 9,065 pounds of thrust, are positioned high to avoid debris and shoulder-fired missiles. Missiles. This is why it can take off from damaged airfields, dirt roads, and improvised runways where no fighter dares to land. Pilots have returned to base with a missing wingtip, shredded elevators, and holes punched through the fuselage, and the aircraft still performed. But its toughness means nothing without its arsenal. Up to 16,000 pounds of weapons can ride under its wings. It carries Mavericks, Sidewinders, rockets, laser-guided bombs, and cluster munitions. During Operation Desert Storm, A-10s were credited with destroying 987 Iraqi tanks, 926 artillery pieces, and over 1,300 other combat vehicles, more than any other aircraft in the coalition. That number didn't come from luck. It came from relentless close-in fire support. What sets the A-10 apart most is its ability to linger. While faster jets scream past, the Warthog can circle for more than 2 hours at altitudes so low pilots can identify helmets. Its cruise speed hovers around 300 knots, letting it place rounds within yards of friendly troops, something impossible at supersonic speeds. And with in-flight refueling, it can keep going as long as the battle demands. A total of 716 A-10s were built between 1972 and 1984, and thanks to ongoing upgrades, especially the precision engagement A-10C variant with new avionics, targeting pods, and digital cockpits, they're cleared to fly into the mid-20s. Attempts to retire the aircraft always hit resistance in Congress because for anyone who's fought on the ground, no other aircraft offers what the Warthog does. Delivers. Number 3. RQ4 Global Hawk. They call it the eye that never blinks. And that's not just a nickname. When the RQ4 Global Hawk first took off from a California airstrip on February 28, 1998, it marked the start of a new era in intelligence gathering. Unlike traditional spy planes, this one didn't need a cockpit, a pilot, or rest. It just needed a mission and the sky. Operating at an altitude of 65,000 feet, the Global Hawk soars higher than even the legendary U-2. It can stay airborne for up to 36 hours straight, and in that time, we cover more than 12,000 nautical miles. That's not just long range, it's global reach. In a single flight, it can scan an area as large as California using radar and optical sensors that deliver imagery so detailed that analysts can distinguish between different types of vehicles on the ground. What gives the Global Hawk this surveillance power is a radar system tucked inside its distinctive nose. Known as the NZP-Y2MEE-RTIP, this sensor suite can spot something as small as a pickup truck, 200 kilometers away. Combined with the enhanced integrated sensor suite, it sees through clouds, darkness, and smoke. And it doesn't just store the data, it sends it back instantly via satellite link, updating commanders in real time. All of this happens without risking a single pilot. A crew on the ground, usually at Beale or Grand Forks Air Force Base, flies the Global Hawk from computer consoles, passing off control as the drone crosses continents. In 2001, a single Global Hawk set a record when it flew 8,400 nautical miles from Edwards Air Force Base to Australia without landing. And when real combat came calling, the early Block 10 models logged over 11,000 hours over Iraq and Afghanistan before being retired in 2011. Today, the Global Hawk program operates in specialized roles. 18 Block 30 drones carry full-spectrum surveillance gear, while 3 Block 20 airframes have been converted into flying communication hubs known as EQ4 BACN platforms. These act like aerial routers connecting ground forces in rough terrain. Meanwhile, the Block 40 models carry enhanced radar systems designed to detect and track moving targets over massive regions, delivering commanders a live map of enemy activity. Each drone comes at a cost, about $220 million apiece, but they replace the need for entire squadrons of shorter-range aircraft. Even so, not everyone is sold on their future. The Air Force has proposed retiring the older Block 30s, claiming that classified stealth drones and satellites could fill the gap, but Congress has resisted, citing the Global Hawk's continued value, not just in military ops, but in peacetime too. The drone still provides NATO with imagery over Ukraine and supports FEMA with real-time wildfire surveillance back home. Number 2. F35 Lightning II. There's a reason they call it the Lightning II. It doesn't just strike fast, it strikes without warning. The F-35 wasn't built to be the fastest jet or the most agile. It was built to be everywhere at once, to see everything, and to feed its pilot a live tactical A-map that updates by the second. More than a fighter, it's a flying supercomputer that also happens to be deadly. Under the skin, the F-35 is packed with sensors that never stop working. Its nose houses the AAP-G81 AESA radar, capable of locking onto threats over 150 kilometers away while simultaneously scanning the ground below like a digital camera. But that's just one part of its vision. 6 infrared cameras wrap around the jet, forming the ANAQ-37 system, an all-seeing eye that lets the pilot detect aircraft, missiles, and even helicopters, day or night, without ever turning the jet's head. All of this feeds directly into a helmet that doesn't just display gauges. It overlays reality itself, projecting a 360-degree battlefield view directly onto the pilot's visor. What moves all of that is a single Pratt & Whitney F135 engine, pushing 43,000 kilonewtons of thrust in afterburner. That's enough to carry the jet past Mach 1.6 while keeping its weapons tucked neatly inside. In the short takeoff F-35B, that same engine can pivot downward to lift the jet off a helipad or the deck of HMS Prince of Wales. Meanwhile, the F-35C was built with a bigger wing and reinforced gear so it could take off from aircraft carriers and land hard again and again. When the Lightning strikes, it does so with precision. 2 internal bays can carry 4 AMRAAMs or 8 small-diameter bombs without compromising stealth. And with the new Block 4 software and TR3 hardware updates, the jet will also carry the AM260 JTM and even the nuclear-capable B-61 Mod 12. If stealth is no longer an issue, it can bolt on another 18,000 patents of firepower externally and shift into full-on bomb truck mode. By the end of 2024, Lockheed Martin had delivered its 1,100th jet, and the global fleet had surpassed 1 million flight hours across 50 bases. The F-35A now costs around $82.5 million per unit, while the B and C variants sit at $109 million and $12 million, respectively. But recent software delays have led the Pentagon to withhold $5 million per jet until the TR-3 package is fully combat-ready. Combat isn't theoretical for this jet. On May 22, 2018, Israeli F-35As quietly entered Syrian airspace and destroyed Iranian missile sites, the first time the aircraft was used in live conflict. Since then, F-35s have been flown by Marines in the South China Sea, Norwegian patrols above the Arctic Circle, and Japanese squadrons preparing for island defense. But its greatest weapon isn't speed or stealth, it's what it shares. With open architecture data links, the F-35 passes targeting info to older fighters, guides long-range Navy, missiles, and even feeds live radar tracks to Army missile batteries. In one test, an F-35 spotted a drone and relayed its position to a Patriot system, which then shot it down without the pilot ever pulling the trigger. The Lightning II isn't just a weapon. It's the digital brain of modern air warfare, and its reach is growing by the day. Number 1. Loyal Wingman. Imagine a combat jet flying in hostile skies, but this time it's not alone. And the aircraft next to it isn't piloted by a human. It's fast, smart, and lethal. But it doesn't need sleep, doesn't feel fear, and if it gets shot down, no one has to write a letter home. This is the age of the loyal wingman. Uncrewed autonomous fighters designed to think, react, and fight alongside manned jets, reshaping air warfare as we know it. Traditional fighters are powerful, but they all carry one critical vulnerability: the human being inside. Pilots are limited by reaction time, endurance, and the need to stay alive. Drones, on the other hand, don't flinch, don't tire, and don't hesitate. The loyal wingman isn't just another drone. It's an intelligent decision-making partner that flies in formation, takes hits when necessary, and even makes real-time combat choices on its own. The U.S. Air Force has already committed to building at least 1,000 collaborative combat aircraft, also known as CCAs, with the first contracts covering 100 to 150 units expected under Increment 1 in 2024. Each is designed to cost just a few million, far below the price tag of manned fifth-generation fighters. Kratos's XQ-58 Valkyrie, for example, is valued at roughly $5 million. But these aren't glorified remote control planes. They're AI-powered platforms capable of identifying threats, dodging incoming fire, and calculating tactics, all without waiting for human input. That idea went from concept to combat trial in April 2024, when DARPA's AI flew an X-62A Vista F-16 against a human-piloted F-16 over California. It marked the first time a machine executed live dogfight maneuvers on its own. And they're no slouches when it comes to speed or range. The XQ-58 Valkyrie can fly over 560 knots and cover 3,000 nautical miles. Meanwhile, Boeing's MQ-28 Ghost Bat, which first flew on the 27th of February 2021, has already flown more than 100 successful test missions by March 2025 and can operate up to 2,000 nautical miles from base. Stealth is built in, not added later. These drones are designed from the ground up to avoid detection using low observable shapes, minimal radar signatures, and modular payloads. GhostBat even features a swappable nose bay measuring 1.5 cubic feet. Meters that can be switched in under an hour to serve electronic warfare, intelligence gathering, or air-to-air roles. All at under 1/10 the cost of an F-35. Some serve as jammers, others as decoys, drawing enemy fire, so the real strike team slips through untouched. And if one is destroyed, the others instantly adapt and reassign tasks. Lockheed Martin is now marketing a pilot-optional mode for the F-35, allowing it to fly with or without a human on board, and to operate seamlessly alongside CCAs on high-risk missions. Because no matter how advanced drones become, dogfighting isn't gone. It's just evolving. When the next generation of AI jets merges with enemy fighters, they won't be simulations anymore. They'll be the ones making the kills and taking the hits. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.